Hello and welcome to the Quibber channel. I am Jason, your host, and I want to talk about how a neurodivergent brain works in certain situations. It's like I came back upstairs. I functioned really well this morning to start with. I went downstairs, I made my breakfast, which was Huel this morning. I managed to rinse out. I've got two of these mighty mugs and I use them 2 days at a time, and then I clean them out and put them on the side and go on to the next one. I managed to do that. Managed to take my medication and my supplements, no problem. All of that was done fine. Then I came upstairs, and just before I came upstairs I thought, okay, I need to buy another set of Huel, because just to bridge the gap between my main subscription, which will start on the 9th, and now, because even though I can have stuff like omelettes in the morning instead, that omelette meal should really be at 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. and taking up that space and not as a breakfast. So I came upstairs, I walked over here, I looked at this PC and I thought, okay, so I'm not going to set, I don't use this PC for this MacBook Air for shopping and that much and that. So I'm going to turn my main PC on, so which was a bad idea. Turn my main PC on, went to the bathroom, came back, went on the main PC, waited for it all to load, put in my password system and everything, got in everything, running fine. Another 5 minutes, no problem. Bring up the browser and I'm going towards using Amazon to do my actual thing that I've got to do to order a new set of Huel. And my brain notices that there's a story on my feed about, I believe the first one was about some political thing going on that I was interested in. Nothing major. So, of course, my brain decided, ooh, let's click on that. So, an hour later, I still haven't ordered anything, because I went from there and then I thought, ooh, I'd better check my Skyrim install and see whether the mods are okay and see whether the mod pack has been updated. So I got off to do that. Then I get back up and I think, there's some fluff on the floor. Pick up some fluff on the floor, take that over, put it in the bin. As I walk back in the room and I think, shit, I still haven't gone to Amazon. I still haven't ordered my Huel. So I go back to my computer. I sit down. And as I sit down, I think, okay, so if I'm going to order Huel now, it's going to affect my budget. So I don't actually order Huel. I go to my budgeting software. Then once I've got my budgeting software up, I turn on my bank system and check my bank, the amount in my bank and the amount in my budget system, to make sure they're equal. Then I notice that Steam needs to update a few games, so I update a few games. Then I get back up and go downstairs, because I forgot to do my exercises with my lightsaber and my stuff that I do in the backyard for exercise. And when I'm down there, I think, oops, I still haven't ordered the item. So I come back upstairs. I still haven't done my exercise outside. So I come back upstairs. I return the computer back on. I turn it back on. I look at it with Tistam and say, I think I'm going to try another different type of Skyrim VR install. Let's try the Mad God overhaul. So I start that installing. Everything's fine. And then I think, while that's doing, I should do my vlog. So I sit down here, I'm about to start, and I think, shit, I still haven't ordered any Huel. And in the end, I have just managed to actually order the Huel 2.5 hours later than when I first came upstairs to actually do it, and I still haven't done my exercise in the backyard. I've been downstairs 4 times now, and I haven't managed to go out the back door and actually do that. Executive function, control, locking yourself into, managing to follow through with things that you're supposed to be doing, things that you actually want to do. It's not a major thing, but it's very, very hard. People say, oh, make a list. If I make a list, I've got to remember to look at the list. I used to make a list of shopping on the note system on my phone. After about 4 days, I've stopped remembering to look at the list. It's very hard, even with all the coping strategies, and it's exhausting. Something as simple as ordering some new food in for the house turned into a 2.5 hour situation. And see, one of the problems with, let's jump on to Skyrim. The Skyrim mod packs, when they first run for the first time, can take 10, 15, 20 minutes to actually install, generate, and kick into Skyrim. Now, that's all very well and good for a normal person, but for someone whose brain can't sit still for more than 2 minutes, trying to sit in or stand in VR and not want to do something else is one of the only ways I've figured out of doing it. And this is the same with games. Another thing that I do, and a lot of people like me do, is we're very impatient. We are the kind of person who, when I'm watching films alone, I usually skip ahead. If I get to the boring parts, the talky parts, the parts that don't interest me, I'll just jump ahead 10, 15 minutes into the film. And unless something's happened that I needed that 10 or 15 minutes, then I'll just continue with it. This happens a lot. It's very annoying for people who are watching with me, so I don't do it with people watching with me. And sometimes I'll even watch films at double speed. When I found something, the new coping strategy, and it's come into being with all the stress to do with health and all the problems to do with health and that I'm going through. When I play a game now, especially a game that I've already played, like Star Trek Online, when I'm just doing my dailies and all that, I will in the background have a story going on. Now, YouTube has hundreds of thousands of these AI generated, most of them look AI generated stories. They're usually such and such betrays such and such gets kicked out of a company. It's all basic drama stuff that's not usually very interesting to me at all. But I can turn that on at the side, and it distracts a small part of my brain. The small part of my brain that makes me say, I don't want to do this, I want to be doing that, I want to be doing that, I want to be doing that. So, but I can't listen to them at normal speed. Oh my God, I can't listen to them at normal speed. They're too slow, they speak too slow. So I usually run YouTube when I'm listening to one of these things, either at 2 times speed. The highest I usually go to is 4 times speed. Now, you may think at 4 times speed I wouldn't be able to understand it, but I can. I can follow the story at 4 times speed. Of course, the problem is, after you've done this for a while, everything else sounds really fucking slow. It's like the entire rest of the world is in slow motion because your brain is calibrated to hear things at that speed. So I only do it when I'm actually, and the more inane the story, the better. It's not like with my Audible books where I want to actually have a good book where I can listen and enjoy the story and get involved. No, when it comes to these things that I've got, it's just like taking a little bit of my brain, multitasking, to listen to it. And I listened to the entire story and enjoyed it. But I turn like a 1 hour and 30 minutes story into something like 15 minutes. And my brain still keeps up with it and understands it. And that stops me from saying, okay, I can't keep playing this, I'm bored, I've got to play something else. I can actually finish my daily. And that, so these are some of the things that I have to do to keep my brain from scattering and going in different directions. And in a few minutes, I'm going to go downstairs and try to get my outside exercise done, although it started raining, but even in the rain I can do it. Basically, I like to do that because I spend a lot of time with my hands on my keyboard. Now, I do exercise with Beat Saber and that, but that doesn't really move your hands in a different way. It's very like, there's 2 or 3 things I do a day, which are basically to make sure my hands go in a different direction like that. Doing that is very good for making sure that I don't get repetitive strain disorder on my hands, or carpal tunnel, whatever you call it these days, when you use your hands in one way. So I use my hands in this, with my hands in front of me, on mouse and keyboard, and that for most of the time I'm on a computer. So I make sure that every day I'm doing things like this. Now, I have a steel baseball bat, quite heavy one actually, which I go in the backyard and I spin it around. I started just using my lightsabers, but the lightsabers are very light, and I can do the movement with both hands and spin it around and all that kind of shit, but it doesn't feel like I'm putting enough strain on my hands and my wrist because it's such a light thing. So I'll do like 30 repetitions per hand with the lightsaber, and then I'll do 30 repetitions per hand with a heavy aluminium baseball bat. I think it's aluminium, probably isn't. It's more like, it feels like it's bloody steel, not aluminium. And so yeah, so this is how I keep my wrists and my hands from ever getting to the point where I would get thingy, because you got to think, I've used my hands for computers for, I do love doing this. It's one of my favourite things to do. It's also very good for stimming. Very good for stimming, very good for focusing an autistic person. And it's good for your actually circulation as well. Because my hands are not getting any younger. I am in my 50s. And I want to be gaming and using all this stuff basically till the day I die. And I don't want ever my health to stop me being able to game. That terrifies me. So, I will say bye-bye now. I hope you're having a splendid first day.